Buzz TV. Now, this is your preview match the preview video for the match against United versus Omonia. Now, obviously, we played them last week, so really everything will be quite fresh for us. So there's not really for this video to really drag on, really. So what can we say? Obviously, Ten Hag's press conference was also today, and I'm a bit worried how Van der Beek is still not back, how Wan-Bissaka is still not back. We really need to actually have my knowledge of what's actually happened to these players and how. Because I personally thought that Van der Beek and Wan-Bissaka will be really important this season with the rotation and stuff. Because if we're not going to play the likes of Van der Beek and Wan-Bissaka, why did they say why don't we sell them in the summer? So really, it's one of them. The same with Martial. Are we now playing with an injury-prone Martial? And he's had so many injuries over the last year, and it's one of them because obviously Martial's publicly spoken about how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played him injured, and has that actually affected him for the rest of his career now? So in hindsight, I'm very worried about Martial, I'm very worried about Van der Beek, and I'm very worried about Wan-Bissaka, because these players I think were good enough to be rotation players and come in and do a shift when needed. But right now, we have no depth at right back. The midfield options are very limited, and the forward options were limited anyway, even when all our forwards are fit. So United's depth as a whole was an absolute disgrace. We've hardly got any squad depth because, well, we do have depth, but the quality's just not there. We either have kids or players just aren't up to it. So, like I said, I keep saying in hindsight, it's one of them where, what does Ten Hag actually do tomorrow night against Omonia? Do you drop certain players? Do you rotate certain players? Do you just give certain players a rest, and not play them at all? Because we've got So we've got Omonia tomorrow. We've got Newcastle at weekend. We have Spurs next Wednesday, and then we've got Chelsea on the Saturday. So we've got 4 games in the next 10 days, 9 days. That is an absolute shambles. 4 games in 9 to 10 days is a lot of games, and with the fitness levels of United's already not being the best, Ten Hag's going to be very smart. Has to be very smart and very careful with what happens over these next few games. And does he just make a risk and choose to lose a Premier League game just to save the players' energy? I don't know, but right now I think tomorrow night is a perfect game to rotate for us, because with Newcastle this weekend, that's going to be a very difficult game. Spurs the next week, and as well as Chelsea. It's kind of like it's just a massive wave of hitting you in the face. It's like when you're swimming in the ocean and the water's dead calm, and all of a sudden a massive wave, and you just swallow a load of salt water, and it's just hit us all at once. And I think that right now, United, like I said, Ten Hag has to be very careful. So, who do you actually play tomorrow night? I'd start off by playing De Gea, because obviously I don't know why we've signed Dubravka, but I just think he'll play De Gea, and it's just one of them. Why did we sign Dubravka? De Gea's obviously his contract runs out soon, and in the January transfer window he can speak to any club if he wants to, just to obviously talk about a move once he's done. So that's one of them. So yeah, obviously I played De Gea. I think Ten Hag will just want to play him just in case he's like, well, if I can develop De Gea, then we don't need to buy a goalkeeper because he's developing well. And really nowadays, if you want to buy a top-notch goalkeeper, they're going to cost you between 50 and 70 million. But anyway, right back as well. Right back's really shaky at the moment because the lot's starting to look tired in my eyes. And yeah, it's just one of them. Does Dalot play? I would play Dalot because I think he's obviously our only consistent right back. Obviously, today in Ten Hag's press conference, he talked about Lindelof and Malacia be able to play there, but they're still not right backs. And do you really want to risk your only spare centre back's fitness and then not be able to bring anyone on in case, like what happens if Varane's injury is not fully fit, and then Varane goes off injured, then what happens exactly? So I honestly would play Dalot and just play him maybe till about half time, 60 minutes in, and just bring him off and save him for weekend, really. I would play Varane. I think that with him missing the last 2 games, he needs to play and just see where he's at. Maybe bring him off at half time, maybe bring him off at 60 minutes as well. It's just one of them. Martinez, I'd also start. He's the butcher. He's been playing very, very well recently, and he doesn't look tired. He looks resilient. He looks strong. He still looks passionate. So he doesn't look like these games are getting to him yet, and I hope they don't, because Martinez is a very crucial player for us. I'd start Malacia. I think it's one of them games where, obviously with the games coming up, Malacia obviously had a bit of a shaky start, and I would start Malacia just because even though he had a poor game against Manchester City, it's Manchester City, every single player that day had a poor game apart from Anthony and Martial. So, and then obviously didn't do too well against Omonia, got subbed off at half time. But I'd give him a chance. I'd start Shaw at weekend 100%, but I just think for rotation, you just play Malacia on tomorrow night. Holding midfielder, I'd play Casemiro, just not for the 90 minutes. I'd play him, like I said. Actually, no, I'd play Scott McTominay, because Scott McTominay forgot. He got his yellow card against Everton when he brought on him. Stupid decision, because now he's banned against Newcastle. So maybe you could bring Casemiro on with half an hour to go in the game, just to get some freshness and matchness in his legs. But McTominay can play for the full 90 when you think about it, because he's not playing a weekend, so he's a player that you can guarantee to play. Box to box, I'd play Fred. I'd give Eriksen, I'd rest 100%. I think Eriksen is starting to look quite tired himself as well, like Dalot. Bruno, I'd also start. I think that Bruno you bring off with 60 minutes to go. Maybe you do that. Maybe you start Bruno playing for 60 minutes and bring Eriksen on for half an hour. You don't know. Again, this is all predictions, and obviously I can't think of what Ten Hag's going to do. I think that he will play Antony, Rashford and Ronaldo though top, because get some goals in them, get some confidence in them, get their sharpness up, get their communication going up. So that's what you want, really. And obviously, like I said, bring them type of players that you're going to play at weekend off with 60 minutes in. It just depends how Ten Hag sets up. I would bring some of the kids though tomorrow night. I'd bring the likes of Garnacho, Palestre, Zidane Iqbal, Charlie McNeil, just to name a few. So yeah, like I said, I'd bring them in just so they, because I think that if you start him, we'll lose the game. But if you bring him on with 3-0 up with 60 minutes with 30 minutes to go, you can really easily control the game and get them some confidence, get them some experience. It's at Old Trafford, so I'm pretty sure the crowd will be behind the kids if they do play. I am debating though that because obviously they reported that United aren't spending any money in the transfer window in the January. So if we sell the likes of Van der Beek and Wan-Bissaka and get Cody Gakpo in, then it's a hit, but it's also not, because you're losing 2 players to get a really informed player in, but then you have no right back whatsoever. Personally, I would bring Ethan Laird back off loan. I'd take him off loan in the January transfer window, pay whatever we need to pay, that Bournemouth we're going to play in the contract, so just pay them that, whether it's it'll probably be about 50 grand or something, whatever Ethan Laird's on, because obviously I think United, it was United paying about 65% of the wages, and Bournemouth not about paying about 35 to 40% of it. So pay them that, bring Ethan Laird back. I personally would just rotate Ethan Laird if we're getting rid of Wan-Bissaka, because Wan-Bissaka's just, I don't know what's happening with him. Same with Van der Beek. Like I said, we need to know what's happening with these injuries and what's actually happened to them, because they've not played. So something really bad must have happened in training. Same with Twenzebe, same with Brandon Williams. These players were really important this season. I don't rate them. I rate Van der Beek, but I don't rate Twenzebe, I don't rate Brandon Williams, and I don't really rate Wan-Bissaka anymore. So, as a whole, I think that them players were important to Ten Hag's system this season, but they've just let him down with it. Well, they haven't. They can't choose to be injured, can they? Or can they? We don't know. But yeah, them players were very important to Ten Hag's system, I think, this year. Even though they might not have suited the system, I think you'd rather them be rotated and save your main players' fitness, and I'm pretty sure that they can do a job good enough. So yeah, it's just one of them really. Score predictions, I'm gonna go for I'd go for 3-0. I think I'd go I was stuck between 3-0 and 4-0. I don't think Omonia will be any threat to us. I think they just got lucky, and I think that United just played poorly last Thursday. I think at Old Trafford, Omonia might shit themselves, to be honest, with how big the stadium is. The crowd will be obviously behind United, and I think Omonia might just feel a lot of pressure really. But apart from that, that's the preview really done. I'm not really expecting much. I'm expecting United to really easily control the game and just go from there and on for the weekend. So yeah, thank you for watching today's video. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment and share. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.